So I've been playing with, I think this is too far. Bring that down a little bit, maybe right there. I've been playing with the Insta360 One X2 for, I don't know, the last week or two. Now, I'm not entirely new at all, really, to Insta360 cameras. I've had the Insta360 One, I've had, or still have, the Insta360 One X, the Insta360 One R, now the Insta360 X2, and I have the original Insta360 Go. Hopefully, maybe I'll get the Go 2 soon, because I do like that little camera. And I wanted to do a quick little video today because, number one, today's a great day for you guys if you're searching around for new cameras, new 360 cameras especially, maybe a do-all, a jack-of-all-trades style action camera. Today's kind of the day because, well, it's Black Friday day on Insta360's website, which means, as you can see here, there's some discounts, and I'm shooting this a couple days ahead. That's why there's a countdown. Hopefully there'll be no countdown for you, but up to 50% off. Now I'm gonna call it as it is. 50% off is on some of the accessories. On the actual cameras, you're getting less of a discount, but some money in your pocket if you're gonna buy this camera anyway is better. So let's talk about the X2. Now, I had, as I said, the Insta360 One. That was my first camera. And I would say probably one of the biggest updates was the One to the One X because of the fact that we got a resolution bump. Yes, yeah, and it made a big difference. That's dinging all over the place here. That's got to stop. Physically, the biggest difference would have been this fella right here. You guys can see it, right? The Insta360 One R. And I have to say, when we are traveling or we are out on a motorcycle, or and I don't want to say ease of use, but want to make sure that what I want in the shot gets in the shot, this has always been the camera that I bring out because, like all 360 cameras or Insta360 cameras, it shoots everything. So it doesn't matter where it's pointing, it's gonna get the shot. That to me is probably the biggest reason that I love these styles of camera. And if you ever watch any of my moto vlogging, when I'm not testing an action camera, this is actually the camera that I use. Again, one of the primary reasons is I can set this on my chin on my helmet, and it doesn't have to be perfectly framed. It can be, pointed down a little bit. The wind can hit it and make it shift. Maybe I have my head down more than I normally do. And normally with a standard action camera, now all I'm doing is shooting the tank of my motorcycle. Whereas this, I can just afterwards take the angle and point it where it needs to be. Who doesn't want that? Or something happens to the side of you. You can just kind of tell the camera, look over there. There's a huge perk, in my opinion, for being able to shoot everywhere. So I really do like this camera. Also, just as a side note, you can get this with the 4K mod, which allows you to turn it into a traditional action camera that shoots 4K. And then we got this fella right here. This is the Insta360 One X2. And I have been shooting, like I said, with this for the past while, and there's a few things I really do like, and a few things that I haven't gotten to test because I haven't got those accessories yet. I will over time, but a few things. Number one, the waterproofing on this thing, I think, looks really good. It feels, I don't want to say it feels more waterproof than the One R, but it does. Everything just has a nicer seal. Even, you guys can see this here. I'll bring this over. When you open, this is the battery, and this is also where you put your SD card. You can see here where the blue is. That's the seal around the battery, which seals this up. So when you go to put your battery in, which of course can only go in one way, if you start to push down, you'll see that these have little red marks in them that says not sealed yet. So you kind of just click, that's good. This one's not there all the way. Are we good? We're good. We're fantastic. This part here, up here is just going to be like the 1R, where this is a USB-C where you can plug in. My guess is where you can plug in like a mic adapter or something like that. Just make sure, like always, you got a good seal on that little clippy button there has moved into place to make sure that it's sealed. But other than that, there's nothing else like open to the environments, right? There's your tripod hole. Cool. It's got a nice textured grip to it, which I actually like for, you know, slipping if you're hand holding it. And I just love the functionality of it. Now, depending on if you do all your editing on your smartphone or you do all your editing on a computer. Now, I do everything on a computer, and I will have hopefully some updated videos coming out soon on how to edit all this footage. I've got some, but I want to get into more, especially I took a bunch of these 360 cameras out to do some moto vlogging. I'll put links maybe up here or down here or somewhere if you want to watch that video. Kind of just showing all the cool angles that you can get with this that you just can't get with a traditional action camera, right? So maybe I'll do a video again showing how those all go together. But this is, I'm rambling now, right? This is the big part for me. Being able to hold this wherever, mount it wherever, and know that I can get with that one placement, 2 shots for sure, because I got 2 cameras going off, right? 2 shots for sure, 2 different angles. But because of that, I can move. I can have an angle up here. I can have an angle down here. I can have an angle over here. I can have one over here. I can have right up at the top. It's unlimited, really. So for one camera, you can do this. So these are really good for, you know, those action shots. You're skiing, you're snowboarding, you're motorcycle riding, you're doing adventure-y stuff, you're jumping off a cliff, skydiving, I don't know, whatever you do. But I even used it just recently in a vlog because, like a lot of vloggers, maybe that's you, maybe that's someone you want to be, again, instead of me having to put the camera down, go do a walk, pick up the camera, point it somewhere else, do a walk, pick up the camera, right? By positioning it in one spot, I can have that angle, maybe a lower angle, an angle from the back. I can get 2 or 3 usable clips from one placement versus one per placement. Does that make sense? I'll show you a video here. This was me pulling my car out. And normally, of course, I would have had to move the camera all over the place, which means I would have had to get out of the car. I don't want to get out of the car. You know what? If you're trying to put out a video a day, anywhere you can save some time, beneficial, right? So I was able to actually, with that shot, with the camera placed in one spot, get all the shots I wanted. Awesome. And if you're smart about it, you can even play some of those clips backwards so that it looks like the car's coming in versus going out, and you get even more shots. Oh yeah, I did that. The other thing that's cool, and you know, when we talk about the 1R. The 1R came with a 4K mod, and that's great. I have it. I don't use it that often because I just normally use this. Because even though this, when you shoot in 360, and they say 5.7K, but in 360 you're exporting a 1080 file, which is fine. You know, if you put on the 4K mod, you're gonna get better quality, but you lose that ability to frame. So I usually will take the quality hit to get the convenience in knowing that my shot is going to be where I want it to be. Because this has a fixed lens, or 2 fixed lenses, you can't take this off and put a traditional on there. It has a 150 mode in it, or 150 degree mode inside. And what's cool about that is you can either do this via the app or via the actual camera itself, where you and I can switch it into that mode. You guys can see it maybe here. I'll just turn this on real quick. And you'll see there, it says right now, it says 150. And if I were to tap on that, it'll load it and it'll turn it into 360, right? 5.7K, tap. 1440p. So this is acting more like a traditional action camera, where these two lenses will shoot independently. Now you're not shooting both, you're shooting one or the other. So when I tap this, you'll actually see, if I tap, there it is. There's a little, like, maybe you guys can see that right there, which camera you want. I can tap that and it'll spin. So now it's this camera, tap that, now it's this camera, right? So when you're holding that out like this with the screen, you really are kind of using it like a traditional, like a vlogging camera, which if you were to equip this with a microphone and everything, could be quite good, because then you get a 360 camera and an action camera. So I have some clips, I'm gonna put them in right here, that I shot with this camera in the 150 mode. Okay, so we are in what's called the ultra wide. So we've got a lot of width right now, which is great. And when I was outside, you guys can see a clip here, I'll cut to it. It has like a stabilization built into it, and you can go into a basic, or you can go into, I believe, a pro mode. I've been shooting in a pro mode, which I think gives you some of that flow state stabilization inside it, but you do get a wide shot. So if you're a little more curious or concerned about making sure that you're framed, or that you're getting as much as you can to really get that like action cam type look, then the ultra wide, in my opinion, is a nice mode. The other thing too is that when you shoot in this, you go to a 1440p. So it's like a 2.7K. So image quality definitely improves versus cropping like a 1080 shot from your 5.7K 360 footage. Now, one of the things just to be aware before I finish this video off is that when you are shooting with your smartphone in the 150 degree mode, it actually comes up and lets you shoot in ultra wide, it lets you shoot in what's called wide, and it lets you shoot in what's called linear. And linear takes that fisheye bowl look and kind of straightens everything back out, which is kind of nice. But to be honest with you, the camera is shooting 150 degree ultra wide, period. Doesn't matter what settings you do, it is just kind of fixing it in software for display after. So if you take that footage and bring it into, let's say, the Insta360 Studio 2021 software on your computer, doesn't matter what setting you had in the 150 mode, you can set it to ultra wide, you can set it to wide, you can set it to linear. You can do it all afterwards. So it is capturing 1440p at full ultra wide. I think anybody that is looking for a secondary camera should look at a 360 camera, just because of the fact that I think it's really a nice complement really to any other action camera, because of the fact that you can, it's just so useful. You know, no worries about positioning. You're always going to capture that shot. It's a fantastic safety camera. Fully waterproof. I can't remember, down to 10 feet or something like that, which again, is awesome. I do like the 150 mode, which is not something that is on here, because again, they will, you can just switch lenses. But that means that if you wanted to, you could have this and almost like shoot it like a traditional camera like this, and just, if you get a strap, I don't know if you can get a strap for this, maybe you can. You could set it as a POV camera, also really cool, or a traditional like vlogging camera. Very nice. All in one camera. Yeah. And again, you know what? I think a lot of people talk about it's a 5.7, but when you do export it out into a smaller 16:9, you're down around 1080. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. What they care about is how cool that shot is. That's what they care about. I'm learning this as I go, you know. One of my favorite cameras for sure. And as a Christmas bonus, as you can see here, yeah, Insta360 today, I actually just downloaded them, speeds up the action cam workflow with a new 360 reframing tool, better stabilization, and a quick reader. Firmware update came out today. Firmware update for this camera, the X2 and the 1R. And the bonus of the X2, even with the firmware update, is that it did it like over the air. I turned this on, paired it with my smartphone, and my iPhone just sent the firmware update straight to it. Whereas with the 1R, I had to download it onto an SD card, move the SD card onto here, and then let it do its update. Either way, all good. But definitely some nice features, and it's always cool to see companies like Insta360 continuing to support cameras that are out. Oh yes. If you're looking at buying one of these, now's a good time, because you know what, doesn't matter what kind of discount, it's a discount. We all want 50% off of everything. Well, you're not getting that, but it is a discount. Some money in your pocket is better than no money in your pocket. And the big decision would be, for me, which of these? If you want one camera that kind of does everything, I'd say this one. If you want one camera that has two lenses that does 360 really well and or does 4K really well, this one. But you have to switch lenses. I got both. All right, guys. Links down below, because you know what? Again, if you buy one of these with our links, it helps support us, which is appreciated. It really is. And I'm going to leave you there. Fun stuff. And if you get one, get yourself some accessories. Accessories make this camera. They do. The Visi stick. I think you can get this free now with one of the bundles. The tripod legs. And make sure you get a protective cover. You guys see this, right? You see how far those lenses stick out? That thing lays on the floor, scratching the lenses, and then you're sad. Then you're sad. But yeah, good deals on accessories. I'm out. Later, guys.